So I have some exciting news. I actually am going to be making the change from New York to Florida this week, and I genuinely am so excited. I don't think I've ever been more ready for something like this before in my life.
An air duct.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody just calm down.
My friends and I have been talking about this for a while now, and I think that they always knew this was coming, but they didn't actually think I would follow through with the plans I had been talking about. I think for them, it was like a little bit of a shock factor, but I genuinely am so excited. I think this couldn't have come at a perfect time, and everything kind of just fell into place. So yeah, that's going to be what's going on. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kate here, and welcome back to the channel. Wanted to just kind of talk about how to feel the fear and overcome it and make the change anyway, because I've been chatting with some people in my life recently, and it just seems like there's a lot of people that I personally care about who want to make big life changes like this but are too nervous to go ahead and follow through with it.
Well, then how come you're still at a job that you hate? I mean, why don't you quit and get the fear?
Because I'm too afraid.
Simply because they're nervous about how other people would perceive them, or just how life would pan out. And I really just think that you need to go ahead and just do what feels right for you in the moment. So yeah, I wanted to just kind of make this to encourage you. I wanted to just kind of provide a little bit of background for how this all came about, because I feel like it can be a lot to just drop huge news like this. Basically, a few months back, I was really going through it.
Sunday's a day of rest.
No, Saturday's the day of pre-rest.
Pre-rest?
I was just, so depressed every day. I got laid off from my job. I was unemployed. And I really was doing whatever I could to feel like I was keeping up with the world and feeling productive. All at the same time, some of my best friends were getting engaged, having kids. And I, just felt like I, wasn't where I was supposed to be. So I definitely think that that had a huge factor on why I just decided to take the leap once I finally interviewed and got an opportunity to move states. I also just think that I love New York. While, the city is amazing, Long Beach is obviously beautiful in the summertime. I've lived here for 29 years, and that is a lot of time in one area. So I definitely think that, I've been wanting to live closer to the beach and, see palm trees as I drive to the coffee shop and get a cup of coffee on the weekend or something like that. And I really just wanted to build a life that I knew I would be excited to wake up to and get to live out. So yeah, that kind of was like the motivating factor for why I felt like I just needed to do this. It definitely took me a few years to come around and get to the current mental health state where I am now. And I'm honestly so proud of all of the work that I've been doing to get here, because in the past I would get an offer down in Florida and I would just be too nervous, or there would be something that I kind of felt was holding me back and keeping me here. So I would spend a lot of time making pro and con lists and just kind of like mapping out what I would want my future self to be doing. I think that is huge when it comes to building your dream life and just seeing outcomes that you actually want to come into fruition in your life. I think it is so important to actually look at like every area and see what you want to improve. I also just think that having consistent sunshine is really going to improve my mental health for sure. And I'm just really excited to meet new people. There's a really cute local church that's just up the road from me, so I know that I'll be connecting with a lot of families. Basically create content on the side. I think at the end of the day, like, my main goal is to encourage people and help improve the lives of others through my videos. So I'm definitely going to be doing that on the side as well. So I am kind of excited to have a little bit of structure and a little bit more purpose. So Proverbs 3:5-6 is a verse that I really think kind of resonates with this topic in terms of advice that I would give someone who is also looking to make a big change. And I'll read it off of my laptop for you. So essentially it just says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not onto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your ways straight." I think essentially, like, the way that I look at this is that if you have any doubts or anxieties about the decision that you're about to embark on, just pray about it. and focus on him and just trust that he has a plan for your life. And if it's meant to be, it will happen. I think there's no point in, worrying about something not working out and then spending so much time worrying about that thing not working out that it actually doesn't. So I just think that, yeah, you really have to lean on God and the word and trust that, absolute worst case scenario, things will be okay. And it's not the end of the world if something doesn't work out. I think that's kind of been like my mindset through this whole thing. I definitely think having if it's meant to be, it will be outlook on life, it just, allows things to kind of just fall into place naturally. So yeah, I would say that. And then another quote that I love is from the Princess Diaries.
Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear.
And essentially, it just says being fearless is not the absence of fear. It's having the courage to go ahead and do it anyway. And I absolutely love that. It basically just says that you're kind of looking fear straight in the face and saying, no, I will not let you get in my way. So yeah, I think that is so important when it comes to, overcoming any doubts or anxieties that you might have when thinking about something. I always like to apply the phrase "what if" to this topic of conversation because I just feel like it's something to always kind of have like in the back of your mind. Like, what if I didn't decide to follow through with this? Or what if I did decide to follow through with this? What would my life look like? Yeah, I just love to apply this because I think it is so important. When I was turning down jobs that could have been really great opportunities for me, I was doing it out of fear and a lack mindset. For me, like if I stayed in New York for the rest of my life, how would I feel? Would I feel like I actually made a difference on the world or anything like that? And I know that can be very deep, but it's just the way that I look at things. So yeah, you just have to take all scenarios into consideration. One of the comfort factors that I have been finding to be so helpful through this whole process is the idea that absolute worst case scenario, I can always come back home. And of course, that's not the option that I would ideally want to take after going through so much and putting so much effort in making this move. But it is nice to know that I have that cushion to fall on. And I also am so grateful to have my family and my friends who are so supportive. And I know that I can always reach out to them if I get like lonely, nostalgic, or something like that. I know I definitely probably will at some point. But this is also why I think it is, again, huge to have faith as a stable jumping point to land on. So for me, regardless, I know that God's going to have a plan for my life. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But I know that He's always going to have something better. And I love to look at things with an abundant mindset now and just kind of, always expect the best thing possible for myself. I think that is just something that I've really been trying to practice lately. And it definitely, starts to kind of hit home once you write that over and over again. Things are going to work out. Things are abundant for me. I am going to have a bright future. And the more that you start to pretend that that's the situation, the more likely that's going to be your reality. So yeah, that is essentially everything that's going on in my life right now. I really hope that this gave you some encouragement. Again, if you're thinking of, making big moves in your life, I think it's so important to do what's best for you and whatever feels right in the moment and also long term. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited. It's overwhelming, but I know this is going to be a really big chapter in my life. So I will see you guys in my next one.